For me, the most important reason to feed your dog raw food is your responsibility to them. Um, you're their guardian. Their only option is what you provide, and I can't help but feel like if we're gonna be responsible for these incredible beings, we have to do our best. The science has is out there now. The industry is booming to feed dogs real food. Um, their bodies know what to do with it. The products that we have traditionally uh, been encouraged to purchase or taught to feed um, are detrimental to their health. But we just found that out in the last several years, and we there's been a really big trend, and it can be really confusing. I personally say kibble kills, and that is what led me on a mission to feed my dogs a species appropriate raw diet. Um, it's what led me to be a nutrition ward employee. Sorry. Um, I am driven now to spread the message or to empower every pet parent the same way I was empowered to take my pet's health into my own hands and treat vets as a resource, not an authority. Make my own decisions and operate from a place of disease prevention, not trying to cure cancer once they get it. So it's important to me to feed the basics the same way we here in nutrition world teach and help empower i- people in the human realms to take care of themselves. We do that for pets too. So today I feed my dogs all sorts of things. When I first started this raw journey, I started with a dehydrated product that we actually sell. I would rehydrate it, and that was an easy way to switch for me. I wasn't sure I wanted to feed them raw. It was daunting. I needed to learn more about how their body can resist the pathogens that would make me sick if I ate a piece of raw chicken. Um, so it took me a while to transition from feeding them raw to what I do today. Um, Today they get a highly specified blend of lean meat secreting organs, a bone ground up in their dishes. Um, they get greens, they get medicinal mushrooms, they get brain support, joint support, um, whatever I have, I put in the bowl. I don't give them the same thing every day. I don't eat the same thing every day. I spent years putting the same scoop of pellets in the same bowl for my dogs, and why? Why? I want something different. I like variety. Variety makes me healthier. Why does it not make sense to do the same for them? What makes kibble so bad? Several things. The raw ingredients, just what they are and the conditions that they've been through before they get to the bag, is abysmal. Then, and because of that, the first process is extreme heat for an extremely long time. They cook it into gray matter, then they add back the colors and the nutrients from wherever those things come from. Um, and then it gets pressed and compacted and squeezed through this machine and then chopped, and then it gets heated again and gets cooked. So by the time all of that destroys the nutrients. So you start with this batch of raw ingredients that came from dumpsters with very minimal nutrients to begin with, and then you do all of this to it that destroys whatever's left. They spray some on, they add back powder packs. But how much of that is actual real nutrients, and how much can your dog's body actually benefit from? Supplements are just as important for our pets as they are for us. No matter how complete and balanced you try to make the diet, our world is just full of toxins, and our soil doesn't have the same nutrients. Our food doesn't have the same nutrients. Um, We supplement our own diets because we can't eat 15 vegetables a day. Um, your dog can't either. It's kind of the same with the core four that we teach humans. Do it for your dogs and your cats. A fish oil, a green supplement, a probiotic, and then I always like to add, if you've got a great foundational diet going, then support the immune system on top of that. We like to recommend to everyone add omega-3s to the dog's bowl. And that usually is even if you are feeding kibble. Kibble's going to be really high in omega-6s. So they're going to need those omega-3s to balance that out. But if you aren't feeding kibble, we still recommend the omegas, especially omega-3. The dog's body cannot produce it on its own. It has to consume it. And then the benefits from that are the list is long. Everything from inflammation, joint health, burning support, skin and coat, and more. So probiotics are incredibly important because, as I mentioned before, our soil is depleted of all the nutrients and a lot of the strange probiotics that would make our gut health complete. Our dogs' guts are a bit trash can guts, so we need to give them all the support that they can. So anything you can achieve that by adding fermentation to the diet, just like for yourself. But adding probiotics is going to make sure that you are covering full base to give their microbiome, their gut health, the best chance to support the immune system and the rest of their body function. It's important to add greens to the list of supplements that you want to add to the bowl. And you want those greens to be in a powder form because it is true, our dogs and cats are obligate carnivores. They don't break down plant matter the same way that even we humans can. So we want that to be in a powder form, so it's the most bioavailable that we can provide. And the reason we want them to have those greens, some argue that it's not necessarily that's on that species appropriate diet. But again, if we're trying to boost a bowl, if we're adding things from the grocery store, we want to make sure that they have the full scope of the vitamins and minerals that they need. And those are going to come from greens. We want to include those greens for their immune support, their alkalizing effect, their detoxification properties. It doesn't matter how purity focused we can be with the entire scope of what we do for our pets. They're up against environmental toxins just like we are all the time. So keeping those greens in the bowl at least a few days a week, at least, as often as you can, the dog will only benefit tremendously in all of those ways, plus more. Medicinal mushrooms have a host of benefits too. Again, with our dogs being carnivores, we want these, if we're providing mushrooms, we do want them to be in a powder form. We want to add it to their fall so that their bodies can absorb the nutrients. But mushrooms are extremely safe for dogs, extremely beneficial. All of the medicinal ones, lion's mane, reishi, chaga, cordyceps, maitake, donkey, the list goes on of mushrooms that I'm happy to put in my dog's bowl. We have some great mushroom products that make it easy to add that extra immune support, gut support, brain support just with mushrooms. We are extremely passionate about pet health, and we are here to help. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out, come by, bring your dog, grab some free samples of anything that you'd like to try. Make sure your dog's going to like it before you buy it. And if you want more content like this, like and subscribe.